Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to BNN. So this is part 2 of the Wendy Waeni story. I did a story yesterday where Wendy Waeni was exposing her former manager, Joe Mwangi, about being a fraud. And here's part 2 where Joe Mwangi responds. So since the story broke on Wednesday, a lot of celebrities have chimed in, providing receipts of their encounters with Joe Mwangi. And I will read out a few of the celebrity responses. So one of the celebrities was Susanna Opio. She provided receipts of their communication with the Wendy Waeni Instagram account. And as we have all realized, Joe Mwangi was the person who was running Wendy Waeni's Instagram and social media accounts. So he was asking Susanna Opio for donations to this foundation that to help her buy toys and clothes and things, and Susanna Opio never responded. Another celebrity that participated was Janet Bugo. She saw the story and posted this to her Instagram account saying if the allegations against Joe Mwangi are actually true, then he needs to be investigated, because what he's doing is minor child labor. This is child labor. He used a minor to enrich himself and never ever provided any financial or resources to the minor, as was shown in the footage that was played on Wednesday, where Wendy Waeni said they are still living in poverty. Another celebrity that weighed in was Boniface Mwangi. He said on his Twitter account that Joe Mwangi should be held accountable and should actually account for all the gifts he received in Wendy Waeni's name, as it has been proven very many times that Joe Mwangi was all over Nairobi in government offices and celebrities' DMs trying to get donations from whatever foundation this is. And he's referencing a tweet made by Edwin Sifuna, who is the member of the Orange House Party, and he's referencing this allegation that Edwin Sifuna, or this incident that Edwin Sifuna brought to light, that there was an incident where Joe Mwangi came to the offices of ODM and he was there to collect a check for Wendy Waeni's foundation, and he asked Edwin Sifuna to change the name from her name to his name. Imagine that. And that's when Edwin Sifuna realized that there were games that were being played here, and he cancelled the whole affair. So on 8th August, when I did this story, a lot of my viewers and a lot of Kenyans said they will not comment on this story or weigh in, as they're waiting to get both sides of the story. And this is me giving you both sides. So this is what Joe Mwangi had to say for himself. He took to Twitter to post 4 tweets, and I can show you the tweets now. So he took to Twitter, and his tweets seemingly are denying the allegations made by Wendy Waeni. And I want to label these tweets as part 1, part 2, part 3, because I want to address all 3 parts and show you guys exactly why this nigga ain't shit. I want to show you conclusively why this nigga ain't shit. So let's start. Part 1, he said this, and Twitter users were very, very quick to notice that he was deviating from the real issue and only just focusing on parts of the sentence of what Wendy Waeni said, and really not addressing the accusation that he's been leveled against him, that he took advantage of a minor and robbed her blind. So Kenyans are not oblivious to the response, noting that he did not address anything here, and he is just deviating from the issue that he used a minor to enrich himself. And in the tweet, Joe Mwangi asked Kenyans to provide proof of him and Wendy Waeni leaving the country, and Kenyans did just that. They did exactly what he asked. A Twitter user by the name of Jane provided a video as proof of Wendy and Joe Mwangi in Rwanda meeting the president of Rwanda, Kagame, and this serves as proof that Joe Mwangi is lying. He's a liar. This serves as proof, and I can show you the video now.
And as Wendy enjoyed the acrobatic performance in her honor, word came that her main host, Rwanda's President Paul Kagame, was ready to meet her. The journey to Rwanda's State House had to start immediately in order to be there in good time. At State House, Wendy sat there looking cool, calm and collected. From 2 years of waiting, it was now just a matter of seconds before her dream comes true. And voila! Perhaps what will now remain in her long list of achievements happened, and she could not help but grin from ear to ear as she reached out for the presidential hug.
How are you?
Fine.
Yeah. Happy to see you.
You too.
Yes. Finally
We met.
have linked up.
Yeah.
The two friends enjoyed their reunion, with President Paul Kagame taking a keen interest in knowing how Wendy was doing in school, perfecting her art and life in general.
14.
14.
Yes.
And after the chat, the good messenger she is, Wendy delivered a gift from her friend Fiona to the Rwandan president.
Your friend at school. Have you? I have this in my...
Yes, your home.
Yes. I write that a gift from...
2 missions accomplished.
If you really want to see that, to see the president, you really have to have that feeling that I'm going to see the president, and you'll focus.
This is Anangwe reporting.
So part 2 of his statement, Kenyans on Twitter were very quick to ask Mwangi to provide proof. This is not the time to be leveling accusations without any receipts. So he should actually prove to us in terms of bank receipts and M-Pesa transactions, cash, how did he exactly pay Wendy Waeni for her performances and for her work? Tell us. You can't just still sit there and say, that's every time he speaks, that's exactly what I hear. I was glad that Citizen TV followed up on this story and actually went and interviewed Wendy Waeni's mom at their home in Huruma. And from the video, if you guys see the video, it is so heartbreaking to see how they live. They live in such poverty. They cook with stoves, with kerosene, they bottles everywhere, jerry cans of water everywhere, and they live in one room which looks so cluttered and so congested. Like, for someone who's actually met presidents, if you've met actual presidents, this is not how you should be living. And they claim that Mwangi has forwarded any proceeds to them. If these people had seen any money, they wouldn't be living in this sad state. No one would live in this sad state if they'd ever seen money. So do you guys think Mwangi is telling any truth here? Because I really don't think so. Wendy Waeni's family would not be living in such poverty if they'd ever had seen any money from those trips and shows abroad. They would not be living like this. So Wendy Waeni gave an interview, and the interview is in Swahili, which I will translate for you. Click on the subtitles, it will be there.
In Huruma area, we find 14-year-old Wendy Waeni and her mother Magdalene Siombua. The home telling a tale far removed from the seemingly polished public appearances of a girl whose talent has put her on the global stage, and one that has had her share time with leaders from around the world.
Pale nje wanajua mimi ndo mama Wendy. Wananijua na wanajua Wendy vizuri sana. Lakini maswali yenye huwa wananiuliza, bado uko kwa ile nyumba? Kwa nini unaishi hiyo maisha na mtoto wako anajulikana mpaka kwa dunia mzima?
At the age of 4 years, Wendy was being trained in gymnastics at her home in Huruma, that setting her foundation for the last 10 years. But at the age of 9 in 2014, Mwangi discovered the young talent and he became her manager.
Aliniambia yeye atakuwa anamtafutia show na atakuwa anaenda na perform, na kijulikana atajua vile atakuwa anafanya kazi na yeye. Nilifika mahali nikamuuliza mimi mwenyewe, huku kote kwenye huwa mnaenda hakuna hata zawadi hata nini huwa inapatikana pale? Akaniambia kwa muda wote walikuwa nafanya kama kumtangaza, yani advert hivyo, na hakuna kitu wanapata.
It is alleged that Wendy Waeni's social media accounts were controlled by Mwangi. Wendy, oblivious of what content was being posted in her name, and with every threat that her mom made to look for a different manager after complaints from Wendy became too much.
Hakuwa nataka story ya Wendy toke nje mahali. Sasa nilibaki pale nimenyamaza. Sasa saa hii vile mambo imelipuka, amenitisha, amesema hata hiyo passport hata lipia. Huyo mwenye alitupeleka Citizen ashughulikie mambo yote ya Wendy na nini, hataki kusikia, hataki kujua.
Efforts to reach Mwangi to respond to the allegations proved futile. Our calls going unanswered, despite his earlier agreement to accord us an interview.
She detailed how when she asked Mwangi about if this shows and performances had any money, that Mwangi literally said that there was no money and all this was just for exposure and getting her name out there. And this is so hard to believe. I'm sure if we actually bother to contact the booking agents that booked Wendy Waeni and all the shows she did abroad, I'm sure there was some monetary compensation, because you cannot just fly out someone who's talented and pay them nothing. There is no hell way. Even what he's claiming, that there was no money in it. So does he want to tell us that he actually paid for these flights from his own pocket and there was no exchange of money anywhere? Does he want to tell us he flew this girl all over the world to perform for free? Isn't that just taking us think we're stupid? Does he think we're stupid? Does he actually think we are this stupid? This guy is literally unbelievable, trying to convince Kenyans that all these shows are for exposure. Did he just say it's for exposure? Shame on you, Mwangi. Shame on you. So part 3. At this point, I'm sure me and you guys, we've established that Mwangi is a liar. So for me, anything he says from this point is just self-serving, and he's trying to save his own ass because he's been caught. He's been caught. And when a scammer and a con artist is caught, they try to spin more stories to move the spotlight from them, and they do not take any responsibility for anything they've done. He is either a really bad, of course he's a really bad manager, and he's also just very greedy. And he also loses more credibility, as when this story broke, as confessed by Wendy Waeni's mother, he dared call her and threaten her to not publicize any of this story and not talk to reporters and not tell their truth. And this is where, to him, he just loses all credibility, because he's doing everything in his power to cover his own ass, and he's refused interviews from all media houses, even though he did promise to give interviews. And guilty. Mwangi is guilty. So if anyone is still not convinced whether Mwangi did this, he did this shit. He did this shit. When I was doing this story on 8th of August, Wendy Waeni's Instagram account was still up, and a few hours later, after I posted the story and this story got a lot of traction, Wendy Waeni's account got deleted. It got deleted, it's not there anymore. And this happened just after this story broke. And Wendy Waeni has had to start another Instagram account. It goes by the name Wendy Waeni Kenya. And I encourage you guys to follow her and support this young girl. She's been through a lot. I cannot imagine having my own daughter being taken advantage like this. And this is what makes so many Kenyans lose hope. When they have talent, they don't pursue it, because there are so many scammers in the industry who just want to take advantage of you and exploit you. And this is why we don't have so much people pursuing their talents and their passions in Kenya, because it's just rough. It's just rough out here. Wendy Waeni took to her new Instagram account to give a message to her fans and thank her fans for supporting her. And here's the video now.
Hi guys, this is Wendy Waeni here. So I want to thank you so much. Since yesterday's interview, you've supported me, and I also want to say thank you to Jeff a lot. So I have a new Instagram account page. So I would wish you to continue supporting me even in this new account. The other account was lost, but please continue supporting me, and thank you so much for those who have been supporting me. It's at Wendy Waeni Kenya. Thank you. May God bless you.
Wendy Waeni, I wish you the best. I hope you have a good manager now and you will prosper. We believe in you. Keep doing what you're good at. Keep following your passions. And that's all from me, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.